A bitter New York wind howls through the desolate streets of Harlem.
Under the cold expanse of the 145th Street Bridge, Sarah huddles with her infant, Nick, their only warmth the weak fire she managed to start. Her hands tremble as she clutches him to her chest, his tiny body swaddled in threadbare blankets. Sarah had lost everything long before Nick was born. But when life stripped her bare, she found one thing worth living for, a child left to die in her arms. Sarah rummages through dumpsters behind a bodega, the bitter cold numbing her fingers. She tosses aside rotting garbage, desperate to find food for Nick. As she searches, her body shakes, not just from the cold, but from fear. She glances over her shoulder constantly, wary of the eyes that watch the street's predators in the shadows. She finds a half-eaten sandwich, her hands trembling as she tucks it into her coat. Hurrying back, she finds Nick still shivering by the fire. Tears well up in her eyes, but she fights them back. Weakness can get them both killed. Every night was a fight to keep Nick alive, and in the darkest corners of the city, survival was never guaranteed. Sarah enters the NYPD precinct, her gaunt face tight with desperation. She approaches Detective Garcia, a weary but kind officer who knows her well. Nick is not well, his face is flushed with fever.
Garcia looks at him, eyes soft with sympathy.
Sarah, he's sick. I know what to do. He's burning up. Just a minute, wait here.
He disappears briefly, returning with baby formula and an old blanket.
This is all I can do right now. Sarah, you know the rules. We help you, but you need to give us something in return.
Sarah nods, eyes hollow with exhaustion. She knows the drill information for survival. But as she looks down at her fragile child, a pit of guilt forms in her stomach. She doesn't want Nick to grow up in a world where every breath costs something.
I love you.
In the dead of night, Sarah hides behind a rusty fence near Marcus Garvey Park, watching a gang make their moves. Her breath comes out in shallow bursts, her fear nearly suffocating. She scribbles the details of their drug deal on a crumpled receipt and slips away into the shadows before they notice her.
Midnight drop-off near the park benches.
Garcia slips her a few wrinkled bills, her hands tighten around them.
They're armed, Garcia.
Stay away from them. If they catch you, there's nothing I can do.